This short video will answer an extremely important question, from the perspective of comprehensive information theory, or CIT. That question is, why is it that among all species on Earth, humans appear to occupy a unique position regarding intelligence? An associated question is, other than humans, does any other species have the capability to use, create, and understand language? Lastly, we may also ask, are those observations about intelligence and language merely appearances, or are they factual? This presentation is not intended to answer those questions exhaustively, but rather to briefly expose the central ideas. In addition, the key terms and concepts that are used here will not be fully explained, since other CIT presentations cover them in detail. Nonetheless, a condensed view of those concepts must be presented, so that you can follow what is being talked about. Alright, let's provide some background. Throughout this presentation, keep in mind that while there may be some overlap with other existing theories or views, the overall content presented here is unique to CIT. The content includes a brief introduction to CIT's central ideas in the areas of intelligence, communication, and language. Regarding intelligence, CIT posits that every material entity in the universe, be it living or non-living, natural or technological, belongs to one, and only one, of four intelligence categories. Shown here is CIT's overall intelligence model. The bottom line is that 2 intelligence forms, combine with 6 intelligence capabilities, to form 8 intelligence attributes. Different combinations, or subsets, of those 8 intelligence attributes are what define the 4 intelligence categories. The 4 intelligence categories are zero intelligence, program intelligence, material intelligence, and non-material intelligence. The category of non-material intelligence is of special importance. Non-material intelligence is the only category containing all 8 of the intelligence attributes. More specifically, the uniquely distinguishing intelligence attribute of non-material intelligence is that of being able to manage all abstractions, MAA for short. As far as can be unequivocally demonstrated, only humans possess the MAA intelligence attribute. In other words, at the present time, only humans can be conclusively shown to possess non-material intelligence. Let's repeat that. Of the millions of species on Earth, only one can be positively shown to occupy the category of non-material intelligence. The significance of that observation has far-reaching scientific and philosophical implications. Alright, since the MAA intelligence attribute is the key feature that gives humans a unique intelligence status, we need to say something about it. To do so, we first have to present a summary of CIT's views on communication. Let's do that now. The following 4 statements summarize CIT's view on communication. First, all material entities are continuously receiving signals from their environment. Second, an interaction occurs when any signal is received by any receiver. Third, if the signal is a directed signal, not just any signal, and the receiver of the signal is an intended receiver, not just any receiver, then that event constitutes a special kind of interaction, called a communication. Succinctly, a communication occurs when a directed signal interacts with an intended receiver. Fourth and last, communication may occur with a language, or without a language. Needless to say, humans communicate with just about everything in their environment. It's also well known that most non-human species communicate with members of their own species, and sometimes with other species as well. Hence, the question of interest is not if they communicate. We already know that they do. The question of interest is, do they communicate using language? More specifically, is any non-human species inherently capable of language comprehension? CIT's answer to that question is, no. Thus, within CIT's framework, of the millions of species, only humans are capable of using, creating, and understanding language. Before proceeding, we must define the term, language. In CIT, A language is a system of communication that contains all three types of abstractions. The three types of abstractions are concreta, abstracta, and PLEs, or pure language elements. In spite of all efforts, no non-human species has been conclusively shown to manage all three types of abstractions. Indeed, CIT highlights the fact that many non-human species use concrete abstractions to communicate. Yes, contrary to popular belief, many non-human species use abstractions to communicate. But concrete abstractions is the only abstraction that non-human species can manage. Not all three types. Therefore, by definition, those species do not, and cannot have language. By the way, the seemingly circular reasoning here has not gone unnoticed. However, we will not go down that path, other than to say that the issue is addressed and answered in CIT. Let's proceed to the main goal in this presentation, namely, to expose CIT's central idea of why only humans possess language. Alright, if only humans have non-material intelligence, which includes the capability to manage all three types of abstractions, then this begs the question: why only humans? Stated differently, out of the millions of species on Earth, why does only one have non-material intelligence, with its unique capability of managing all abstractions? An objection that may be raised is that we don't know with full certainty that only humans have non-material intelligence. The straightforward reply is that there is no evidence for any other species possessing non-material intelligence. We know that non-human species can do some amazing things involving intelligence. However, CIT shows that every one of those things can be adequately explained with only program intelligence or material intelligence. Non-material intelligence is not necessary. Of course, the same cannot be said about humans. Humans do many things that absolutely demand non-material intelligence. In other words, the fact that humans possess non-material intelligence is unquestionable. That's not the case for any other species. So we return to the question: why only humans? In the most general sense, there are only two possible viewpoints for answering this question. The first is a purely material, non-theistic viewpoint, which we will call natural. And the second is a non-material, theistic viewpoint, which we will call supernatural. Of the natural explanations, the most promoted and accepted is pure material evolution, namely, human intelligence emerged sometime during the unguided natural progression of life from non-life, and then from simple life to humans. Other natural explanations that have been proposed include natural entities from another dimension or from a parallel universe, natural entities from a future time, or natural entities from another place in the universe, such as an advanced alien civilization from another star system. Those or other purely material sources could explain why only humans have non-material intelligence. Setting aside logical and scientific issues with those proposals, the main problem is that they lack testable, verifiable evidence to support them. Yes, there are limitless speculations, extrapolations, conjectures, hypotheses, and theories, but none of those can be rigorously and scientifically pushed outside the boundaries of ideological belief. Primarily for that reason, CIT dismisses all natural explanations for why only humans have non-material intelligence. Of course, a person is free to believe whatever they wish, but in light of inadequate evidence, CIT flatly rejects all natural explanations for the uniqueness of human intelligence. This leaves only supernatural explanations, which is where we'll go next. To be clear, CIT rejects all natural explanations for why only humans have non-material intelligence because, in the final analysis, those natural explanations require a leap of religious faith, which is an expression of ideology, not of observable science. In other words, without adequate scientific or logical support, the person must choose to believe in some of the countless speculations, extrapolations, conjectures, hypotheses, and theories that have been proposed to explain the uniqueness of human intelligence. What's more, many people have claimed that human intelligence is not unique, and have attempted to prove the claim. For several reasons, CIT strongly disagrees with that view. In any case, if we're going to be operating in the realm of ideological belief, then CIT finds the objects of belief for the natural explanations to be far less plausible, far less believable, than the supernatural explanation. Concisely, CIT rejects a purely material reality, and adopts a supernatural, theistic reality. Having rejected all natural explanations for the uniqueness of human intelligence, let's briefly look at some supernatural explanations, culminating with CIT's position. Okay, you probably already know that there are literally hundreds of supernatural positions, commonly called religions, that express belief in some type of supernatural reality. Religions usually include one or more gods, goddesses, demons, spirits, or forces. Every religious position will likely have its own explanation for the uniqueness of human intelligence. For example, in Greek mythology, Prometheus created the first man, and the goddess Athena breathed life into him. We can only assume that man's intelligence was a part of that creation, perhaps when Prometheus gave fire to man. It's even possible that some supernatural positions may not regard human intelligence as unique. In any event, for reasons beyond the scope of this presentation, CIT rejects all but one supernatural position. We'll conclude this presentation by revealing that position, and briefly showing why that position is held. Having considered, and rejected, all natural explanations, and all but one supernatural explanation, CIT's position regarding the uniqueness of human intelligence stems from the Authorized Version of the King James Bible, KJV for short. Arriving at CIT's position was a simple matter of connecting certain elements within the KJV, with observations about human and non-human intelligence. This being a brief presentation, we will not be entering into all of the details and discussions. Only the minimum argument will be provided. Alright, there are 6 points in the KJV that were connected. These are, 1. Of all species on earth, only man was created in God's image and likeness. Genesis, chapter 1, verses 26 and 27. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." So God created man in his own image, male and female created he them. 2. God is spirit, that is, non-material. John, chapter 4, verse 24. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit, and in truth. 3. Having created man in God's image and likeness, humans possess a non-material, spiritual component. Job, chapter 32, verse 8. But there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. Also, 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 12. Now we have received, not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God. 4. Content throughout the KJV indicates that God created humans for the special purpose of having fellowship. 1 John, chapter 1, verse 3. That ye also may have fellowship with us, and truly our fellowship is with the Father, and with his Son Jesus Christ. 5. Those first 4 points imply a unique status in human intelligence. If true, then we should expect to find capabilities in human intelligence that are not found in any other species. We may regard the claim as a hypothesis that needs to be verified. Towards that verification, observations confirm human intelligence capabilities that no other species possesses. With those capabilities, humans have accomplished feats in science, technology, the arts, philosophy, and in logic and mathematics, that no other species can even grasp, let alone achieve. Thus, human intelligence appears to be unique, not only in degree, or quantitatively, but also in kind, or qualitatively. That unique intelligence was essential to exercise dominion over God's creation, a privilege granted only to man. Genesis, chapter 1, verse 28. And God said unto them, Replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. 6. To have fellowship with God, humans must be able to grasp and understand spiritual matters, not just material things. Succinctly, without a spiritual component, we could never relate to God, who is spirit. Hence, To access, comprehend, and operate within the non-material realm, a non-material component is essential, since mass and energy alone cannot grasp spiritual matters. 1 Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Therefore, if we were to have fellowship with God, we had to have spiritual discernment. Without a spiritual component, there would be an impenetrable wall forever preventing humans from having fellowship with God. That, in a nutshell, would explain why human intelligence is unique, having a God-given spiritual component that is able to transcend the material domain. Okay, with that foundation, let's now return to answer the original question. In this video, we were addressing the controversial issue of whether language is a capability possessed only by humans. CIT's position is that humans, and only humans, are able to use, create, and understand language. It's well known that most species, perhaps all of them, communicate with members of their own species, and sometimes with other species as well. However, those communications are conducted without language. They use a system of physical signals that do not constitute a language in the fullest sense of the term. That claim is addressed and demonstrated elsewhere in CIT. This leads to the question, why? Why is it that among millions of species, only humans have language capability? CIT answers that question, first by showing that a prerequisite for language is the capability to manage all three types of abstractions. Since only humans possess that capability, this implies that only humans are able to have language. But we must again ask, why? Why are only humans able to manage all three types of abstractions? That question was answered in the previous slide. Succinctly, of all species on Earth, only humans are created in God's image and likeness. This special creation bestowed a spiritual component to humans, a component able to access and understand the non-material and spiritual realm. It is this spiritual component that provides the capability to manage all three types of abstractions, thereby making language possible. To date, all efforts to find a material cause for the uniquely human intelligence capabilities have failed. Other than ideological faith, there is little reason to expect a different result for similar future efforts. It's worth mentioning that the extremely powerful, and somewhat mystical aspect of language has not gone unnoticed. For example, two notable figures were Albert Einstein and Eugene Wigner, both Nobel laureates in physics. These two men expressed a sense of bewilderment and wonder, as they caught a fleeting glimpse of an infinite realm, using the uniquely human language of mathematics. Specifically, they spoke of the surprising degree of correlation between entirely abstract mathematical worlds, created in the human mind, with the observable physical world. This unexpected connection suggests a deep mystery, one that is still discussed to this day. On that point, Einstein wrote, "How can it be that mathematics, being after all a product of human thought which is independent of experience, is so admirably appropriate to the objects of reality?" More emphatically, Wigner wrote, "The enormous usefulness of mathematics in the natural sciences is something bordering on the mysterious, and there is no rational explanation for it. The miracle of the appropriateness of the language of mathematics, for the formulation of the laws of physics, is a wonderful gift which we neither understand, nor deserve." Note some of the language that they used. How can it be? Bordering on the mysterious. No rational explanation. The miracle. A wonderful gift which we neither understand, nor deserve. It seems clear, to me at least, that these men perceived an element that transcended mere mass and energy. The highly privileged status that humans have, by virtue of being able to operate in the non-material domain, was captured in the Book of Psalms, chapter 8, verses 4 through 8. Speaking about man, the psalmist wrote, "For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him with glory and honor. Thou madest him to have dominion over the works of thy hands. Thou hast put all things under his feet." Indeed, Of the millions of species on Earth, only humans exercise dominion over God's creation. Perhaps that was what Wigner was referring to when he wrote, "A wonderful gift that we neither understand, nor deserve." Every indication is that God gave humans an intelligence uniquely different than that of any other species, so that we could comprehend far greater things than even the most impressive objects and phenomena in the material universe. With this unique intelligence, humans have access to high truth. Levels that are unattainable by any intelligence confined to a material domain. Levels that are necessary to understand spiritual truths and to have fellowship with God. Alright, in a nutshell, that is CIT's position and explanation for why language is unique to humans. If you know of a different natural or supernatural explanation for this uniquely human capability, please share that information in the comments section below. Thank you.